Chapter 3. We get to find out what happens with Milo and his broccoli. Do you think that he will wear it all day? Would you? An almost perfect day, Milo thought as he looked out the window next morning. Milo himself, however, was a long way from perfection. As usual, he fought with his sister about who would use the bathroom first, and as usual, his sister won. Then Milo played his radio too loud, and his parents shouted for him to turn it down. At last he was dressed. It was time to get serious. Milo stood in front of the mirror and picked up the broccoli. It looked rather tired and limp, despite its night's rest. Milo put the string around his neck, and the broccoli dangled upside down in front of his chest. It was the goofiest looking thing he'd ever seen, but he didn't dare laugh, because this was a matter of utmost importance. Then he realized he would have to eat breakfast and face his family with this green vegetable hanging from his neck. It was not going to be easy. He dawdled a while. What does dawdle mean? Milo, called his mother from downstairs, "You're late for breakfast." Milo looked in the mirror and fiddled with the broccoli. He tried sticking it under his shirt, but all that did was make him lumpy. His family would never overlook a lump like that, or a lump that size, in a million years. Better to leave the broccoli out where everybody could admire it. "Milo," his father hollered, "get down here." Milo went downstairs and into the dining room. Now do you know what dawdle means? Because his parents both had to call him for breakfast. He was taking a long time, wasn't he? The minute his sister saw him, she laughed so hard she sprayed a mouthful of oat whammies all over the table. But his parents were too busy staring at Milo to scold her. "What," his mother asked in astonishment, "is that?" Can you make the look of astonishment on your face? Can you look like you're astonished? Milo tried to pretend he didn't know what she was talking about. "What do you mean?" "That thing hanging from your neck," said his father. "Oh, that," said Milo calmly. "That's a stalk of broccoli." "Sure, Dad," said Alyssa. "Lots of people walk around with stalks of broccoli hanging from their necks. That's how you can tell the goofballs from the rest of us." Milo made a face at her. She made a worse one back. "Would you mind telling me just what you think you're doing?" his mother inquired. "I'm wearing this broccoli around my neck." "Is this some kind of a new fad or something?" asked his father. "No," said Milo, trying hard to think of an explanation that would satisfy his parents. "We're doing a play in school about nutrition. I'm one of the vegetables." "Good thing you're not the watermelon," said his sister. "You wouldn't be able to stand up straight." "Do you have to wear this broccoli at the breakfast table?" Mrs. Crinkly asked. "Yes," Milo replied. "It helps me remember my lines." His mother gave a deep sigh. "Milo, that broccoli is for tonight's dinner. Be sure to put it back in the fridge when you get home from school." "I can't," said Milo, feeling sillier by the minute. "Why not?" Milo thought very hard. "Because I need to wear it tonight, too." This is a good example of why it's important to always tell the truth. When someone makes up a lie or a story, then it keeps getting harder and harder to keep it up. They keep telling more and more lies about what they're trying to hide. This is not a very important thing, probably, but it shows us one good reason why we should always tell the truth, doesn't it? It's much easier. "I thought you said the play was today." "No, today's only a rehearsal. The play is really tomorrow." He just keeps going, doesn't he? "If you ask me, I've got a broccoli brain for a brother," said Elisa. "All right, Milo," Mrs. Crinkly sighed. "By the time it finishes walking around with you all day, that broccoli won't be fit for human consumption anyhow. We'll use up the leftover rutabaga tonight." "Not rutabaga again," cried Elisa, sticking her tongue out in disgust. For once, Milo tended to agree with her. Well, nobody said being perfect was going to be easy, thought Milo as he stepped out the front door. It was a beautiful spring day, much too warm to even think about wearing a jacket. There was no way to hide his broccoli, and of course it was the first thing everybody noticed on the way to school. "What's that for?" asked Milo's classmate George, making a face and pointing. "I've got a terrible disease," said Milo. "Here he goes again. The only cure for it is to wear broccoli around your neck for a whole day. Then you throw the broccoli away and the disease is gone." "What's this disease called?" George asked suspiciously. "It's a long name," said Milo. "I can't remember." "You're lying," said Milo, said Janet. "I've never heard of any disease like that." "Me neither." George stepped in front of Milo and blocked his path. "Give me that," he ordered, and grabbed for the broccoli, but Milo jumped aside. Do you think George has a right to treat Milo that way, even if he doesn't agree with him or if he thinks he's not telling a true story? He doesn't, does he? Usually Milo backed down when George bullied him, but this time he was totally unafraid. George grabbed again, but Milo kept leaping away, holding on to the broccoli for dear life. Finally, George got tired and gave up. He wasn't used to Milo's defending himself. "Milo, that broccoli is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen," Janet declared. "Why?" asked Milo. "People wear all sorts of things around their necks. Why not broccoli?" "Why not cauliflower?" George scoffed, making another futile grab at Milo's vegetable. "Why not a ham and cheese sandwich?" "Because it's silly, that's why." "Look, nobody's making you wear anything," Milo shot back. "If I have to wear this, it's my business. If you don't like it, leave me alone." George backed off, shaking his head. "Well, at least I don't have to eat it. If there's one vegetable I hate, it's broccoli." The rest of Milo's day was rather embarrassing. He was the center of attention in every class. When his teachers asked him why he was wearing a stalk of broccoli around his neck, he told them it was his doctor's orders, and yes, he had a horrible disease, and no, he didn't know what it was called, but it wasn't supposed to be contagious. He should just tell the truth, shouldn't he? The hardest part was Jim, because the broccoli kept flopping around while he did his exercises. The only other real problem was that the vegetable began to develop a rather pungent odor. What do you think that means? Pungent odor. And started dropping little green flowers all over his shirt. Maybe the picture can give you a clue about the pungent odor. Milo felt very proud of himself the rest of the day. At dinner, he tried to be as perfect as he could. Now that he was in training, he ignored his sister's snide remarks about broccoli wearers. He politely asked people to pass the dishes instead of reaching for them himself, and he even said thank you when he got them. "Thank you," echoed his mother. "You know, Milo, I'm beginning to think that broccoli is having a strange effect on your brain. If it's going to make you behave like this, I think I'll make you wear it." Milo didn't say anything. He just smiled the most perfect smile he could and cut his rutabaga into tiny, bite-sized pieces so that he could chew and digest it with absolute perfection. That was a silly chapter, wasn't it?